Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today I'm going to be doing the next 5 stages of the Deagostini Collectables release and build the Ford GT. So as you can see, we're going to be doing stages 88 to 92 here, and even though there's not many parts, this is going to be quite a difficult pack because this has been fairly easy up to now, I have to say, but we are starting to join parts of the car together now, including the engine bay and connecting all the hoses. That's always notoriously difficult, so I will be taking my time on today's one. If you want to get this for yourself, I don't know if this is still available, I have to say, but it's in the video description, and there's also a QR code on the screen. We're going to jump straight into it. Stage 88 is going to be a very difficult one. Without further ado, let's get cracking. So here's all the parts for stage 88. I'll get these open, but we're not using everything at the moment. I know that much. This is the magazine for stage 88. Having a flick through here, and there is loads to do. So this is everything we've got, but we are going to be putting these intake ducts into place. Then I'm going to be putting the back axle actually onto the car. That's going to make the car a lot bigger. I've got to secure this down here, and it doesn't look like we're actually using any of these other parts yet. So I think this bit is going to be really hard. So the first thing I want to do is bring over the chassis here, and I'm going to be putting these ducts into place. Ducts? Ducts, it sounds like I'm saying quack quack duck. No, ducts. Now the way they go in is this one is going to be going underneath into this position here, and this one is going underneath into this position here. Now to line it up, because I can't actually see where I'm putting these, I am going to need to just turn this upside down, and then hopefully you can see on here with the locating lug. It's quite handy actually that when you put these in, the locating lug actually keeps them into place for you like that, because I need to turn it back over, and I'm actually securing them in with an FP01 screw. Just one screw, but it's going through the hole just here. And that's going to keep those ducts into place. Now, while I've got it this way round, we're going to be working on some of these pipe works here. Now, this hose here, which hasn't got any sort of like connectors on the end of it, I want to make sure it goes over to this right hand side here. Just going to get some masking tape and secure that down. Now I've got me tweezers out here. We've got some little holders or little brackets here, and we've got the same on the other side here, which is where this rear axle is going to be going. So put this in just like this, where it's going, and then make sure that these are sitting over where those handles are. Now when we've got that in there, we can line up this bracket at the back here with these two holes just here. Now, what I am doing is supporting this with my hand underneath, because I do want to be putting these FP01 screws just through the holes on each side over here. So very hard to get these in, but I've got one in this side. And that's one FP01 there. I'm hoping you might be able to see this on the top camera. The only way to get these 2 points to actually meet each other here and here is by holding this the way that I'm holding it, with one hand underneath here, which is making that section come up. I'll do the one on the other side. And that's both of them in there. That's really hard. It's actually sort of between this manifold and the roll bar here that you've got to get your screwdriver in. But that's those two FP01 screws in. And then I need these FD10 screws. And these are metal screws. I'm going to be pinning these parts that I showed you at the start together to keep this section in as well. So one in this side. Perfect. Bit of oil. And one in the other side just here. So 2 FD10 screws are holding that in there. two FP01 screws are holding it in at the back there. I then want to turn this over because that should be quite tight into place there. And then I want to use more of these FD10 screws into the holes just here. There's 4 holes here. Once that's done, it means we've got 8 screws holding this whole back section in there. And there you go. That is fully into place. That was actually easier than I thought it was. It was a little bit difficult to actually get the screws in here. Other than that though, looking pretty good. In stage 89, again, here's the magazine. We've got some pipes here for the cooling system, the rear cooling system. It looks like we are actually going to now start connecting all of these pipes up that you can see here. So that's going to be difficult in itself. So it's looking like that. It doesn't look like we're using any of the parts from that stage though. Okay, the first pipe we need is the ignition switch pipe, which is coming from the back of the carburetor here. It's actually going to go onto the ignition coil, which is this section just here. So I'll put that into place. You know me, I am going to put a little bit of glue on this. Once again, I just open this out by putting my tweezers in here. I'm just twisting it now and again. Let's get this in. Not the easiest thing to get in, but there you go, that's in. I've then got these 2 ends of fuel hose here, looking like that, one there and a longer one there. They're going to go into the top of these sections here. Again, I am putting some glue on this. So that's one in there. And the second one's just in there like that. Right, we've got this hose here, which has got a sort of got a 90-degree angle on it. That's going to be going onto the pin just on the side of this tank just here. Then I've got this right-angled sort of pipe. It's going to go into the hole just here. Like that. And then this upper pipe of the rear cooling system, which hasn't got any tabs or nozzles on, is going into the expansion side of this filler cap. Like that. Oh, this one's come off. Put that one back on. So that's those 2 onto that expansion tank there. Now, in the last stage, we had these transmission lines looking like this. These are going to go into the holes. Hopefully you can see it on the top camera or just here. Into this section just here. Just going to push them in, see how... It's quite a tight fit actually. So they're in like that. Try and show you that on the close-up there. Now, the short lead of this is going into the side of the transmission. I do need a little bit of grip, so I'm using my pliers rather than tweezers. There you go, that's that one in. That took some pushing in, that one. And this final lead here is actually going to be going through the hole at the side of the transmission at the front. So it comes out the bottom, turn it over, and it's going to go into that hole that you can see just there. Like that. Again, just seeing that fits okay. I think I will put a bit of glue in that though. Now, apart from the electrics, the only things we haven't connected are these 2 wires coming out of this side of the firewall bulkhead here. But that's all there is to do in that stage. To that end, just so you know, we still have these left over as well. So stage 90, here's the magazine. What are we doing? We're actually going to be using the leads that we've just showed you here. We are going to be putting this into place onto the engine. Now we do get this part here. Now let me show you what that looks like. It's actually still in the wrapper here. That looks cool, but I don't know if we're using that. Once we put this in, we're not. We're just basically connecting that up. So I'm going to keep that part safe. Bring the car over here, and I'm going to put this left intake over this section just here. Push it in. Fits nice and tight in there just like that. Now you remember these 2 pipes that we had? I couldn't figure out where they go. I'm going to put them in the inside here, because these actually go into the back of this section. So one this side and one that side there. So now these are both plugged in to this box. Just put that to one side for a second, because I want to bring over these parts here and I want to put these into place. So this pipe is going to go into the very front hole. That one's quite a tight fit in there. Won't need to glue that. And the second one is just going into the hole next to it here. So they're facing off in this direction. Now looking at that, I think I am going to glue it. My better judgment does say glue this into place, because you just know that when I've got these in the main car, they're going to fall out. So let's get that one in there. And I will put a bit of glue on this one. Bring the car over again. This time I can just move that lead there just out the way. This is going to be going onto this side. Now I do want to make sure that these pipes here are underneath. And then push this into place like that. Now the pipes that I've just attached to that are going to go into the front of this box here. So the longer one will be going into this side. Again, I am going to put some glue on this. Just like that. And the shorter one to the hole just here. So as you can see, they're now both into place. Just noticed my transmission lead had come off, so I am going to now put that in with some glue. Now looking around, the only hose I don't think I've connected is the one that I troweled at the back of the bulkhead here and just held up with some masking tape. I do have a vacant hole here, so I don't know if we connect that afterwards. We'll check that out. But that's all there is to do in that stage. It does get confusing when the stages we're doing, we're actually not using the parts now. So let's see what we're actually doing in stage 91. We do have a hood frame and a lower front panel that looks like this, but we're not actually using that. Look, we're actually going to be connecting some more pipes up. I think some pipes I probably haven't connected onto this, plus this frame section that we had in the last stage, was it? We're going to be putting that in as well. Oh, and we are going to be putting this section together as well. So we are using some parts from the last stages. Now this is where I need to open pack 89, get these parts out, because I do need a couple of these engine hoses there. Bring the car back over here. Get me glue at hand, because I want this hose here. Put some glue just on the edge. And that's going to push into this hole just here. Like that. So it's coming out the other side there. Now the other end of this hose is just going to go into the back of this box just here. Like that. So it's coming from here into there. The second hose we've got, which looks like this. Do you remember that vacant hole I had on the engine that I didn't know what's going into it? That's now going to have a home with this smaller pipe here. And there we go. That's that one in. Now the other side of this hole is going into the outermost point of this expansion tank here. And again, I don't know if you can see that, but that's now into that outermost hole at the top there. Now the fact they haven't asked us to connect this wire here, and because of the connection on it, I'm guessing that's going on the innermost hole. So I'm going to put that in now. And with those two wires in, there's now no hoses which haven't been connected. The next thing to do is to take this frame, and it's going to go onto these pillars here. So I'll just line that up so you can see where it goes. It's going to fit on just like that there. And it's held in with FD09 screws. These are silver screws. And it's going to take 4 of these. So I'll get these in. There you go. That's all 4 of those in place. We can now just put this whole thing to one side. And bring over this section just here. Now this is absolutely crazy, because even though this looks like this, which is brilliant, I need these parts which came in the very first stage. I've had to keep these safe right from the beginning of this build. How mad's that? I'm going to be putting these into the headlights here, so you have a bigger hole and a small lug, so it dictates which way round it goes. So I'm just going to get this in, and it needs to be really clipped in there so it comes out the other side. Do the same on the other side here, and that's both of those clipped in. I do want to hold these into place with some of these FP09 silver screws. These go into the larger holes just at the bottom here. So one this side and one this side here. And with those in, that's all there is to do in that stage. So stage 92, the very last stage of this pack. Loads to do in this there was. We're actually going to start putting in these sections here that we had previously as well. They're actually going to attach to the section we just had. So by the end, it's looking just like this. So I need this part here from stage 91. And I need to join these two pipes together. So this one's just going to be going onto this one here. And it is just a push-in. So once it's in, there we go. We pushed in that pipe there. Bring over this part of the front that we've been working on, and this is just going to be sitting probably best on the top camera onto the two holes that we've got here and the one hole just on this side, and I'm going to be screwing that in with these FD01 screws. So one in here and then just two on this side here. I'm going to be doing the same with stage 92 here. Exactly the same actually. Again, gonna pin these half of the pipe on top of this half, so that makes a complete pipe. Put this into position where this is going to go, and again these, what were they, FD01 screws to secure this in, and 3 screws again. And there you go. With that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. Now, just as a guess, if I was to bring the car over, I'm guessing this is going to be going on kind of like that there. So, not attached yet, but looking pretty good. That actually holds itself in because there's some little tabs here, which is quite cool, but that looks all right, doesn't it? We have done loads, absolutely loads on this pack, which is something I've never seen on this build. This is quite an easy build until you get to these last stages, I think. But we got there, all the hoses are connected, everything's looking good. I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.